Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's a Rodfather with another episode of The Real Housewife of Salt Lake City. This is Season 5, Episode 6, Mafia Wives and Bad Vibes. Now, this episode could go long. I'm going to try to keep it short. But if you want to get a snack, something to drink, because this is a rock'em sock'em episode. All right. Meanwhile, if you're getting back, let me take care of some business first. If you are fans and you know other fans of Salt Lake City, share it with your other friends. Get a conversation going on. Of course, I'd like to hear what you have to say too. You can send it to my Facebook page, the Rodfather916, or send me a email. But I prefer to hear what you guys have to say. And if you have some suggestions of what I could do better, I will take that in. Not sensitive here. My ego's intact. So the episode begins over at Angie's house, which is up for sale. By the way, I think she's wanting $4 million for it. You know, she's got this view of the skyline of Salt Lake City. And it's a large house. I think it has 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. So we opened there, and at her doors, her associate, and I think his name was Garazi. And he tells her, he says, listen, I wonder, I like these girls, are almost like family, but, I kind of want to have a sit down with them because, we got a whole lot of stuff going on. And he jokingly said, I'm going to take care of that. The next time we see Rhoslc, he's posting a poster over at Lisa Barlow's house, inviting her to Angie's 25th anniversary. And this has a Mafia theme. It seems odd to Lisa because she and Angie hasn't spoken. The last time they spoke, we saw the fight and that was it. And these are friends of 15 years, and that's one of the reasons Angie invited her. They've been together 15 years. So as she's picking out things away, we get to see her husband John and her son Henry. And, and she's talking about how hurt she was. Because, remember, Heather told her that Angie told Heather that she was a bad mom. And her son Henry, like, you're a good mom. And she goes on and she goes into detail about it with Henry sitting there. Come on, parents. And so Henry says, well, why don't you do what we do at school? Let's take it out. And parents went, oh, wait. Is that what y'all do? And you could see in Henry's eyes, like, if I could turn back time. I didn't mean to say that. Meanwhile, next scene, we have Whitney and Meredith. Meredith, they're meeting at a restaurant, and Whitney is there to apologize to Meredith. She felt she was too harsh on her when they were down in Milwaukee, and she wants to apologize, especially now that she knows the source of all of these rumors. She knows who's done it. She's convinced it's Lisa Barlow, and she tells Meredith that. And Meredith is like, where's your source? She goes, before you guys get into this, you should have a conversation, and you need to be absolutely positively sure about your source before you start blaming and naming names. So, well, next scene, we're at a strange place. This not so much this season. We're at Mary's house. Mary hears a sound, and it's her son, Robert Jr., going up to his room, with the name above, Robert Jr., so he doesn't get lost. And so, and he's there with his girlfriend, who could be his actual wife, we're not sure. But Mary hates her, but she's kind to her. And, where were you? I've been worried about you. I've been calling you. Oh, something wrong with my phone. Of course, we all believe that, right? And it's and she's like, you know, he's my baby. Because the boy's not working. He's not working. He doesn't have any goals. And the only time we've seen him really talk to his mom is when he needed money. And then, for somebody his age who's in his late teens or early 20s, this is not a good sign. And, let's hope that he gets over the hump. But when you have a child with no direction, they often take a wrong turn. That's been my experience. Thank God my kids are grown. Uh, Bronwyn comes over, and Bronwyn is feeling Mary. They're both eccentric about their clothes and their furnishings. You've been to Bronwyn's house and she spent all this money for these chairs that stacked on top of each other. Her husband has to love her, as Robert Sr. loves Mary, because it's just eccentric, and she loves Mary's house with the blue cabinets in the kitchen, just like hers. And so Bronwyn brings her up to date about conversations she's had with Lisa, and how Lisa, from just a glance, knew her child's grandparents. And they tried to set up a meeting, but it didn't happen. And, she's kind of upset about that. And Mary shared with Bronwyn that, my son doesn't know his grandparents. You know, Robert Sr.'s parents are dead, and her father's dead, and she has no relationship with her mom. And she shared that, Robert Jr. went to a nice school, and they had grandparents' day, and it was just horror for him because he didn't have grandparents. And so they talk about they are bonding on this loss, this absence in their child's life, because you feel that way about your kid. And so Bronwyn goes on and she goes, "Listen, these women, I'm new here, and I don't get it." She goes, "I hear Heather telling Lisa about what Angie said." And Lisa and Mary responds, "Listen, Heather's two-faced. I told her that before. I told her that last week, and I told her when we went to the zip line. It's like you shouldn't be in." Basically, what she's saying, Heather, you shouldn't be in any conversations between Lisa and Angie. This friendship is 15 years. And at the end of this, I'm going to go in a little bit deeper with Heather and Lisa, and why Heather is up Lisa's Uranus. And so Bronwyn is really upset. She goes, I like Angie. I kind of want to tell her, give her a heads up and say, this is what your friend's saying. Lisa, she doesn't respond. Or Mary doesn't respond, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, oops, excuse me for a whole second. If you are new to the Housewives, please understand, fights will always take place in the open, at inappropriate places, at quiet restaurants, at anniversary parties. at private parties at someone's home. Can't wait to have it outside or wait until they get home. Nope, it's got to be done in one of these public places. So if you're new to Housewives, that's Housewives 101. So we're getting ready for the party. We do a flashback where Angie's talking to her husband, Sean. And Sean has no love for Meredith, who's invited to the party. If you remember last season, Meredith started a rumor suggesting that Angie and her family is part of the Greek Mafia, and Sean was gay. And she's not welcome, but she's coming. And maybe they should get security. So the party's starting. Meredith is there, Whitney is there, and at the party, people are still arriving. Meredith suggests that Whitney have a talk with Lisa as soon as possible. Next person we've seen for the first time this episode was Brittany. Brittany's there with a date, but it's not the Osmond. It's a guy named Aaron. And it turns out that Salt Lake City is a small town. And Aaron's tongue has been in Heather's mouth. Say what? Yes. So Mary sees Aaron and calls him Jared. She's convinced that's Jared. Now, Mary, you've lived in Salt Lake City long. You can't use what all white people look alike. But she's convinced. Meanwhile, Bronwyn tells Angie that Lisa was upset at the party. Remember, this is her anniversary. This couldn't wait. She tells Angie that it was Heather that told Lisa about what you said about her parenting. Oh, it's time. The crowds are appearing. It's time. Bronwyn is upset, and she has a little vendetta against Heather. Heather's come after her, and I think this is part of Bronwyn's... Because you understand that Bronwyn is not the one. Do understand that. Of the new girls, watch Bronwyn. She's becoming my favorite. Now, Mary is pissed that Lisa defends Heather for Heather's misdeeds. And she's pissed. Next thing you know, we got Heather, we got Lisa, we got Mary, and Mary's not backing down. Mary and and Heather's trying to gaslight Mary, and Mary's not having it. And she goes, I don't do this. So they sort of wrap it up really quickly with Heather going, should we do a group hug? Mary goes, no. Mary's pissed. Unfortunately, everybody else is fighting with everybody, so she sits down to some tweeners. I don't think they're real teenagers, and she vents to them. Just sit there. You'll do. It's not important. I just need to talk to you or talk to somebody. So Heather goes over to Bronwyn over her comments. And Bronwyn holds tight. Meanwhile, let me do that again. Meanwhile, Brittany's ex Jared shows up at the party. The one who broke up with him. The one she just broke up. He just broke up with her last week. That's a thirsty MF. I'm sorry. I am sorry. You're no Marie, you're no Don, you're an Osmond, but you're not. You're thirsty. It seems that Justin is a friend of the Osmond and invited him over. Well, I ask you, how do you invite somebody to somebody else's party? Help me with this. I have family who used to do that, and the Godfather don't play. I have a sit-down dinner, and you're bringing in entourage. Nope. Your entourage can wait out on the porch and watch on the car, but they're not coming to my house. If I said it was an open party, it was an open party, but I invited you and one guest. You're coming here with the Jackson family. Ain't working for me. You can be mad at me. I'm all right with that. You can never speak to me again. I'm okay with that. I'll have an extra plate or two. So, we got Jared in the house. Mary's finally knows who's who. Okay, that white boy is Aaron, and this white boy is the Osmond. Winner. Brittany's a mess. I still love you. Poor Aaron. Maybe he could kiss Heather again. Their tongues said, I love you too. I'm sorry. That man, I could be wrong. See if you agree with, but I think he's thirsty as hell. So, Lisa takes Brittany over to straighten Jared out. Because, remember, Brittany's all twin inflated. I don't care how many times we break up, I will always love you. And I will always love you. Please, please, somebody, please. Somebody take me outside and hit me with a rubber chicken. Stop. So Lisa straightens. She's got Brittany's back. Then we got Mary, and Mary is over there talking to Aaron. Okay, how's things going? Not quite like that. That's not Mary at all. But things are getting more heated. People are getting louder. Meanwhile, outside, Jared is still saying that I'm here because I missed you, Brittany. So you got factions to the right, you got factions to the left. So now we got Lisa and Whitney talking into one corner. Whitney asks if did Lisa leave her gift in a room? Lisa got attitude. I didn't realize I left it there. Now we all know that Lisa left that shit in the garbage. At least it was found. Maybe the gift was tired and suicidal, so it drug itself to the garbage can where they found it in the room. So Whitney says, I know you're the source of the rumor. Lisa goes up a few decibels. And she goes, who told you? And she gets on her phone and she calls Sean, her lawyer. I'm not sure she called Sean, her lawyer. But she was, because, he picked up the phone. and she's got her phone here and she's talking here, and she goes, I want everybody involved, the police and everybody. We're going to sue. I'm going to sue everybody. I'm going to. And by this time, she's screaming. Lisa Lisa calls, Lisa walks over to Justin, Whitney's husband, and says, your wife is a liar. And Justin says, no, she isn't. Meanwhile, now Lisa's husband's over in the corner. He's in the same corner, and my wife is not a liar. And the next thing you know, it looks like they're about to get blows. My money is on Justin, because Justin's beefy. John is tall and thin. Something you would put in a Subway sandwich. But that's where we ends here. It's to be continued. Now, as promised, I want if you're just relatively new to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, let me give you some background. This started from season 1. This is regarding Lisa and Heather. They were either in high school or college together. Lisa was clearly part of the popular crowd. You remember Lisa. Oh, I like that. Heather was the chubby girl, probably not the smart one, but not at the smart table. For most of season 1, Lisa denied knowing Heather. It's like, I may have known her. Because Lisa's a classic mean girl. I like her, but she's the mean girl. But Heather wants to be a part of Lisa's life. Not Whitney, her cousin, not Meredith. She wants to be a part of Lisa's life. She wants to be ignored. That's why, yes, I'm going to say it, that's why she is so far up Lisa's ass. Why she's feeding Lisa with all this information. I mean, I don't know if it's, some people have called it like a schoolgirl crush or an obsession, single white female. But from season 1, it was at the end of season 1 at the reunion is where Lisa sort of acknowledged that she knew Heather, even though they had classes together, the whole 9 yards. But every season I see it progress. But this year's the worst. And see, Lisa can turn at any minute. If you don't believe us, if you've been watching this, go back a couple of seasons and see how she turned on her good friend Meredith. So this is a Real Housewives. Again, this is a long one. I knew it was going to be because there was so much content here. Again, like, subscribe, follow. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Share this video if you think it's interesting, the other videos with other fans of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. In fact, this weekend I may announce it. I'm going to talk about housewives because there's some holes here in a few of them, and I've been reviewing housewives forever, forever. And I'm just starting back and I'm a little rusty, but I'm going to improve every week, I guarantee you. And it won't be this long. So if you've hung in with me, I really appreciate it. And so this is a Rodfather 916 wishing everybody love, joy, peace, and happiness. Please choose happiness. Please vote. And I'll see you next week. Because I want to see if John's going to lay hands on Justin, or will Justin accidentally hit John and take him to see Jesus? We'll see. Meanwhile, bye y'all. Thanks for watching.